Hello everyone, I'm the Next Gen Stuff, and today I'll be talking about a strategy where, if you are a Zerg player, you must get mutalisks, because in this game I'm going to show you why it is so important and crucial for Zerg to get mutalisks in the ling muta bane style of play, because this is Heart of the Swarm, and ling muta bane is very common. So here's what happens if you do not get mutalisks in this game. So I'm playing against a gold level Zerg player. I am a gold level terran. If you didn't know, I'm trying to get to platinum. Been beating some Zergs on the ladder. Zerg versus Terran is one of my strengths, as well as Terran versus Protoss, but Terran versus Terran I do not really like. So we're going to be hopping into this game. I'm going to open up with a command center first, build, and I'm going to get pretty greedy in the beginning. And he's actually going to punish that with a baneling bust, although I do hold that off very nicely because I do scout it in time. Now it's kind of... There's my command center going down. I leave a little space for my barracks to go down, because I have a 14 command center, 15 barracks, and 16 gas. So I'm going to be throwing down my command center and my barracks, and I'm going to set that rally of my barracks for the SCV building that to scout, so I can scout that. And I'm actually going to open up with some early Hellions and scout it out. And I do scout he is going for like a push with a bunch of roaches in the beginning, so I do block that. And he does open up with like a really early pool, like that's a really early pool. So I make sure I don't die to this by repairing a bit. And my first Marine's going to come out and chase this off. So, pretty good start for me. I lost a little bit of mining time with those SCVs, but that is okay. I'm going to be throwing down my factory. And after these two Marines, I'm also going to lift this barracks up, and I'm going to land it and make my reactor. Now, I put my Marines there to see if it was a valid wall. It is a valid wall. So my SCV is going to go down there to scout. I'm going to be constantly building SCVs, and this is pretty standard. So I'm going to be building another depot soon, and then there's my bunker going down inside there in case he's committing to some sort of baneling bust, because that was a pretty early pool, if you ask me. And then I'm just going to scout. He does have double gas in the natural, so I'm like, okay, something's up. I mean, not in the natural, it was double gas in the main. So I'm going to be flying this down here, and I'm just going to chase these two lings off with like one Hellion, which is pretty easy. I'm just going to put my barracks on the low ground just to have a building on the low ground, complete off my wall off a little bit earlier, my secondary wall off. And although my stim for that is going to be delayed, it is okay, because if he is committing into this, then my secondary wall is going to be pretty important. So I am going to commit a little bit more into Hellion, since he is committing into this ling play. So what's going to happen is he's going to commit into ling play, and he's going to get ling baneling, but he never gets mutalisks. So what you can do as a Terran player, if you are a Terran player watching my videos, what you can do as a Terran player against Zergs who go pure baneling, and I see he's getting ready for a roach push, because it's 8 minutes into the game and he hasn't gotten his third base. So I'm like, okay, I need to prepare for some sort of push. I'm going to get double engineering bay to start my upgrades, but more importantly, I'm going to start getting medevacs. I'm going to put 2 widow mines in the middle of the map. This is what I like to do, because sometimes they forget overseers. And what happens when they forget overseers to bring them with their army? They walk into the middle of the map with their force and lose a couple of units. And I watched the replay, and actually those widow mines get about 18 kills each, which is actually really huge. A really good investment for those widow mines. I'm going to be flying my third base over in a little bit. But if he doesn't punish this, my greedy play, he's gonna, and he tries to punish it, but I hold it off pretty nicely. So obviously, Hellions aren't going to be too good against the roaches, but they are map tools, and they do very well against banelings. So I'm going to be flying my third over to there, and it's very important. I can go Marine. Like, I honestly think that roaches are much better versus, roaches are much easier to deal with than banelings. If you are a Terran player, you can sympathize with me that when you have to split those Marines, but what I like better as a Terran player is that you can just use Widow Mines. Now, you set up a field of Widow Mines. I'm going to be playing this build defensively in this game. I'm going to be playing it more aggressively later in the game, but I'm going to be playing it more defensive, because if I play defensive and get my third base up, I can get a huge army, and it's going to be really bad for him. So splitting up my Marine Force in case he wants to attack to the natural. And he's just trying to poke in, see if he has that. He doesn't have +1/+1. So he actually does do a good job with his banelings. He doesn't detonate them right away. I actually haven't seen people use banelings that good on the ladder yet. So I'm like, oh shoot. So I'm just gonna, this is actually gonna be a little bit easier. I'm gonna poke in, and +1/+1 is done. So these roaches are gonna have a little bit of hard time dealing with this. So these banelings are gonna walk up the ramp. And this time around, he's actually not going to do as good of a job detonating those banelings as well as he did before. He actually attack moves instead of move commands the banelings. And the reason you want to move command the banelings is because you want to wait till they detonate on the force, not like, yeah. So I'm going to be SCVing and muling up starting to mine off my third base again. And this is just going to be good. I'm going to, my standard 5 barracks, actually I'm up to about 8 or 9. I think I'm up to 9. So I'm going to plant these two widow mines, and what he does a mistake of is he only brings banelings and zerglings, and he doesn't have an overseer. Now, here's what's going to happen to those. If he had an overseer with him, this would have been a lot more trouble for me because he has a ton of banelings. So what's going to happen is he's going to send in a few of those zerglings. It's a good idea to detonate those widow mines, but I still have 3 that aren't detonated, and those, look at all those banelings. Ugh. That looks so good to see as a Terran player. A nice, clean Widow Mine shot. That Widow Mine probably got about 12 baneling kills. That's about 12 baneling kills. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mining off my third base now, and he's trying to rally units across the map. His creep spread is continuing, but it's not really too harsh, the creep spread. So I'm going to be loading up a Doom Drop. I scanned his main and saw that he didn't have mutas yet. And if you don't have mutas this late in the game, then it is going to be really trouble. So I'm going to be moving out with these 6 medevacs full of units. And I'm just going to see he doesn't have a 4th base. So I'm going to have the economy advantage. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop right here. And I can pick up whenever I want. Look at this. I can pick up whenever I want. I got a kill on that hatchery, now I can just bring my drop up here. And guess what? He can't do anything about it because he doesn't have Mutalisks to chase my medevacs down. So I'm just going to pick up again. I dropped a Widow Mine there and picked it up there. And I'm going to drop here, take out some Overlords, take out some Larva. Now I'm going to go down here. And now here's what he does. He moves his banelings there. But I just drop Marines one at a time, so he doesn't trade effectively. So I got rid of like a ton of banelings there. Now he gets pissed and he goes in for a baneling bust. And I don't really have a wall off. However, I did have a Widow Mine that detonated on all those banelings again. And I'm just going to drop on all these roaches since the baneling count is not that very impressive anymore. So I'm going to lift off my command center again. Although look at that medevac count. That is a ton of medevacs. And I'm starting my +3/+3. So this is really bad for the Zerg. He lost a lot of banelings. He lost the main base, he lost the third base, and he's remaking those now, hopefully. But I'm going to load up this Doom Drop. He doesn't have Mutalisks, so since I scanned the spire, look at these 2 Marines cleaning up creep. These 2 Marines were worth it for sure. I forgot to pick them up, but I just decided to use them to clean up creep. He didn't kill them the whole time, but I have a ton of medevacs. You do not need more than 1 starport. All these medevacs were made from 1 starport. And this just shows why Zerg needs Mutalisks, because if you don't get Mutalisks, this many medevacs will come into play and just boost on in and start doom dropping your base. So I'm going to move out again with these medevacs. And obviously this is just a ton of medevacs. I'm going to drop on these lings and clean up some of the creep. And pick up again right before the banelings come. I'm going to slowly drop one by one Marines, and then he's going to get annoyed and run away. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back here and Doom Drop. So, he sees this. I'm going to Doom Drop here. And I'm just going to pick up again and get out. So, I'm going to leave a couple Marines there for his banelings to clean up. Now he gets a little annoyed again, brings a couple of banelings, and he doesn't split well against these Marines. And he gets a couple of SCV kills, but that doesn't matter because I already have a huge army. So, and he's going to say GG here in just a second. So, this teaches you that Zerg absolutely needs Mutalisks, and if you do not see a Spire late game, as a Terran player, you must punish that. You must go for a Doom drop and keep bouncing between bases with this Doom drop and keep dropping in the main base. Once the banelings come charging forward, you just pick up and get out. So, he's going to say GG here, and that is the game. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, or you can dislike the video and not subscribe if you didn't like the video. But, thank you guys all for watching, and